let's have now the discussion for circles. So this is also the continuation of the lessons we have discussed, such as the different theorems on circles. And this time po, we have area and circumference of the circle. So I know naman na you have already learned in your elementary years or grade all about this area and circumference. So parang recall lang naman din ito for more uh, average or difficult questions na mga word problems po. Let's start with these shapes po. So, which of these shapes has the greatest perimeter? So, alam ko naman na alam niyo na din yung definition ng perimeter. And which has the smallest? What is each perimeters in terms of D? So, yung ating batayan po dito is yung length ng one side ng square. So, if one side of the square measures or represented by D, and in this shape, the length of D is from this point up to this point. And this length D here represents the diameter of this circle. So which has the greatest perimeter? So let's have. So the given square has four sides of length D, which means that the perimeter is that its perimeter is equal to 4D. Hexagon has six sides of 1/2 D. So tingnan po natin. So this length is equal to 1/2 D since ito po ay ang uh, whole length po nito ay D. So if we're going to half it, so we have half it. So we have 1/2 D. Ibig sabihin, this side is also 1/2 D po. So since hexagon has six sides po, we are going to multiply 1/2 D by 6. So we have the product of 3D po. For this circle po, we have here the illustration. The the perimeter of circle D, or if we are going to refer it as the circumference. The circumference of the circle is between 3D and 4D. Since yung ating circle is between the hexagon and the square po. So, its circumference is equal to pi d, or its perimeter po. Then we have here area. Which of these shapes has the greatest area? So, if we're going to observe po, napaka ano naman po na um, na yung square po is has the greatest area. So let's have lang naman po. So the large square, its area is 4r squared. The small square has an area of 2r squared. Since yung ano po, the small square po yan. So yung length po niya ay, ng one side po ay r. So 2r squared. Then, the area of the circle is between 2r squared and 4r squared. Continue po tayo. A circle has a radius r. So if we're going to slice the circle into 8 equal parts, so we have here like this po. And consider the length. So this length from here to this point, it's pi r, length of half of circumference, since we know that the whole or the circumference of the circle is equal to 2 pi r. So the length of half is equal to pi r po. Ito po yung illustration niya. Pi r po ito. And if we're going to determine the area of the circle, we have pi r squared po. So if we're going to illustrate it using this figure po, we have a parallelogram here. Di ba po ang parallelogram, the area is equal to base times height. So if we have pi r as our base and the height is r, so we can have this formula pi r squared for the area of the circle. So, yan po. Then, take note po, a circle has radius r and diameter d sa ating mga given, sa ating given figure. And the circumference of the circle is equal to pi d or 2 pi r, since diameter is equal to 2r, and the area of the circle is equal to pi r squared. Let's have these exercises po. So, number 1, if the circumference of the circular sheet is 176 meters, find its area to the nearest whole number. So, we need to have the formulas for the areas and the circumference. So, substituting to this formula, so we can have the formula for the area of the circle, which is equal to the circumference square over 4 pi. So, if we're going to substitute 2 pi r here over 4 pi, we have pi r squared po. So, we have 176 square from the circumference times over 4 times pi, which is approximately equal to 2464.99, 176 square meters. So, it should be 2465 in nearest whole number po. 2465 po yan dapat. For number 2, the area of the circumference is 616 square centimeters. Find its circumference. So, kanina po, ang given ay circumference, ang hinanap ay area. Ngayon naman po ay, ang given ay area, and we are finding the circumference po. So, in this given formulas, we can derive the formula for the circumference. 2 is equal to the square root of pi times the area, which is equal to 2 times the square root of pi times the area, which is equal to 616. So, multiply 616 by pi and take the square root and multiplied by 2. The result is 87.9823 centimeters, or in the nearest whole number, it is approximately 88 centimeters po. For number 3, from a circular sheet of a radius of 5, a radius of radius 3 is removed. From the area, find the area of the remaining sheet. So, ito po, area of the remaining sheet is equal to the area of the outer circle minus area of the inner circle. So, meron po tayong formula. We have 4 pi r squared, capital R po yung nirepresent ng radius ng outer circle, and lowercase r po, letter R, yung radius ng inner circle. So, we can factor out po. So, in this example po, we use the value of pi, 22 over 7. Or you can use the symbol pi in your calculator to calculate the value of this area. So, we have 5 squared minus 3 squared. So, this is 25 minus 9, which is equal to 16. 8 times 2 is 16 times pi, which is equal to 50.28 square centimeters po. So, you can do po as we discussed po, or as I discussed po, you can use calculator to check po the solution po. For number 4, find the perimeter of the figure below, a semicircle including the diameter. So, semicircle, the circumference is the half of the circumference is pi r. So, the radius is 10. Since the diameter is 20, half of 20 is 10. So, we have 31.42 centimeters for the length of the semicircle. And for the diameter, the given is 20 centimeters. So, we just need to add the values. And we have the sum 51.42 centimeters po for the perimeter of the figure po, including the diameter. For number 5, the diameter of a wheel is 70 centimeters. How many times the wheel will revolve in order to cover a distance of 110 meters? So in this example po, in these exercises, we have two different units. So we need to be consistent in our units. So we need to convert the given to another measurement or the same measurement po. So in this case po, I converted 70 centimeters to meters, which is equal to 0.7. And then, since since the circumference is equal to pi over pi times um, pi times d, so we have 3.14 here times 0.7, which is equal to 2.2. Then, for the distance of 110 meters, the revolutions would be 110 over 2.2, which is equal to 50 revolutions po. For number 6, the ratio of the radii of two wheels is 4 is to 5. Find the ratio of their circumference. So if we're going to present it using the formulas, or we can conclude that if the ratio of the radii we can conclude that the ratio of the radii of the two wheels is equal also to the ratio of their circumference po. So if the ratio is 4 over 5, the ratio of the circumference also is 4 over 5. For numbers 7, the radius of a cycle wheel is 35 centimeters. Find the number of turns required to cover a distance of 1,540 meters po. So in this example po, 2 pi r, the circumference of the wheel, is 2 pi times the radius. So we have here 35, which is equal to 220 centimeters. Converted into meters, we have 2.2 meters. So the cycle wheel covers a distance of 2.2 meter in one rotation po of the wheel. Then, so to find the number of rotations, we need to divide 1,540 by 2.2, which is equal to 700 rotations po. For number 8, a thin wire is in the form of an equilateral triangle of side 11 centimeters. Find the area of a circle whose circumference is equal to the length of the wire. So, ang mga given po natin, equilateral triangle of side 11. This means that the perimeter of the triangle is equal to 33 since three equal sides po and each side measures 11. So, 3 times 11 is 33. And then, meron tayong given na circumference of the circle is equal to the length of the wire. So, ibig sabihin, we need to equate 2 pi r into 33 po. Then, the radius now is equal to 33 over 2 pi centimeters. Using the area of the circle, pi r squared, we have pi times the quantity 33 over 2 pi squared, which is approximately equal to 86.66 square centimeters po. Next, for number 9, find the area of the circle whose circumference is the same as the perimeter of the square of side 22. So the same po sa number 8, ang pagkakaiba lang po is yung um, perimeter po. Since yung ating figure po dito ay square. So we have 88 centimeters as the perimeter of the square since 22 times 4. For the circumference of the circle is equal to the perimeter of the square. So the same po nung ginawa nung last slide, 88 divided by 2 pi is equal to approximately 14. And we use 14 as our radius, so 14 squared times pi is equal to 616 square centimeters po. For the last exercises po, from a rectangular metal sheet of size 20 centimeters by 30 centimeters, a circular sheet as big as possible is cut. Find the area of the remaining sheet. So if we're going to illustrate po the given rectangular metal sheet, the the biggest circle that can be cut has a diameter of 20. centimeters po. Since ito po yung pinaka-shortest side ng, or tama po, shortest side ng rectangle. Hindi na po naman pwedeng maging ano po, 25 since hanggang 20 lang po yung isang side ng rectangle. So, we need to recall the formula for the area of the rectangle. Length times width or length times base is equal to 30 times 20, which is equal to 600 square centimeters. Then, for the area of the circle, we have pi r squared, and the formula is d over 2 or r. So, ang radius po natin ng circle is 10. So, 10 squared times pi is 314.16 square centimeters. Then, the remaining area can be solved by uh, subtracting the length of subtracting the area of the circle to the area of the triangle po. So the difference is 285.84 square centimeters po. So yun po yung applications po ng different formulas ng ating na-discuss po, which are the area of the circle and the circumference of the circle. Let's come now to the area of the sector and arc length po. So if we illustrate sector of a circle, let us think of it as a piece of a pie. So parang isang piece siya ng pie kapag i-illustrate natin yung circle. So we have here the illustration, the diagram, and the name. We have also the formula for the area. So this given formula is used when the given angle or the given value of the central angle is in degree measure po. So M represents for the measures of the angle of the central angle or the measures of the intercepted arc po. So dito po, ito po yung intercepted arc po natin, which is measured in degrees po. So ito po, example po, sector MPN. So you can solve po the area of the sector of these two given. Here, try po to solve. Let's apply it po in this given problem po. Find the area of the sector shape field shown in the figure po. So the given here is in degrees po. 321 meters po yung radius po ng circle. So in this example po, we use uh, this formula po. This is also equivalent to the given formula on the previous slide po. So, ang ginawa po dito kasi, yung theta dito is measured in radians po. And we converted 15 to radian po. And in that case po, we multiply pi over 180 to convert 15 to radians po. Since ito po ay 180 lang dito, or 180 lang po yung nandito nakalagay, meron po tayo ditong 2. So, kaya 2 times 180 is 360 po siya. So, if we're going to recall po the formula, so meron po tayong 360 dito, and then yung degrees po dito. Yun po yung nangyari dito sa ating formula. So, I'll repeat lang po na ito po ay um, pwede niyong gamitin kapag yung ating given degrees or given measurement of the arc or of an arc is represented using the radian measure po. But if it is in degrees po, pwedeng ganito po yung inyong gawin. The same lang din po nung formula na nabanggit kanina. So the area of the sector shape field is approximately 13,500 square meters po. Next po, a sprinkler on a golf course fairway is set to spray water over a distance of 70 feet and rotates through an angle of 120 degrees. Find the area of the fairway watered by the sprinkler. So if we're going to compute for the radians, or if we're going to convert 120 degrees to radians, so this is how we do po. 120 degrees times pi over 180 po. So yun po yung way natin on how we are going to convert degrees to radian. We just multiply pi over 180. So we get 2 pi over 3 radians po. Then, substituting to the formula, which is which was used on the previous slide po, yung kanina lang, yung sinundan pong slide. So, naging 4,900 pi over 3. So, na-cancel po yung 2 dito. So, 2 over this 1. So, 70 squared na lang po. 4,900 copy pi over 3 po. And then, simplifying po, don't forget po to calculate the pi. So, we have approximately 5,131 square foot po. Next po, a circular plot with a 720 feet diameter is watered by a spray irrigation system. To the nearest square foot, what is the area that is watered as the sprinkler rotates through an angle of 50 degrees? So, ito po. So, ang ginamit ko po dito ang formula is yung in degrees po. Since ang given po ay nasa degrees. So, you can check po if you are going to convert 50 degrees to radian. So, just multiply pi over 180 and then substitute to this symbol here or the theta here. Kasi yung theta dito is measured in radians po. So, the answer is 56,549 square foot po. Let's have area of a segment. So, if we're going to illustrate area of the segment, it is the difference between the area of the sector and the area of the triangle po. So, we have area of the sector, yung kanina po, 1/2 r squared theta. 1/2 r squared theta po. And then, yung area ng triangle dito is, ang area ng triangle dito is 1/2 r squared po. Since equal naman po yung radius, kasi nga, di ba po, ang area ng triangle is 1/2 base times height. Since r po siya, kaya siya ay naging 1/2 r squared. Then, you can try to solve for the area of the segment given the figure here. For the arc length is the distance along an arc measured in linear units. So, ano po? So, ang given naman po dito is the measure of the arc is in degrees po. So, degrees po. Meron po formula later kapag yung given naman po niya ay radian po. So, here po, in this example po, ang given po, ang radius po is 18.2 centimeters. And yung ating given po is 3 pi over 8. So, since wala pong unit, ibig sabihin ito po ay nasa radian form. So, if the given is in radian form, you can use this formula to find the length of the arc. So, 18.2 times 3 pi over 8. Kasi yung ating theta dito is measured in radian na po. So, in solving for S, we get approximately 21.4 centimeters po. For letter B, we converted 104 degrees to radian po. Or you can use the formula that was mentioned earlier po. So para maging ano po tayo, the same lang din po yung ating process. We use the formula S is equal to R theta, but we need to convert 144 degrees to radian po. So yan po yung converted na po na measure in radian. Then, using the formula S is equal to R theta, so we solve for S, which is approximately 45.7 centimeters po. Next, finding an angle measure using S is equal to R theta. So we have here two gears. The small gear, which has a radius of 2.5 centimeters, and the bigger gear has a radius of 4.8 centimeters. So how many degrees will the larger gear rotate bago bago matapos po yung one revolution of the small gear? First, find the radian measure of the angle, and then find the arc length of the smaller gear that determines the motion of the larger gear. So 225 degrees is equal to 5 pi over 4 radian. So ano pong ginawa ulit? We multiply pi over 180. An arc with this length on the larger gear corresponds to an angle measured theta. So ayan po. So the arc length of the smaller gear is equal to S is equal to R theta. So yung radius po ng smaller gear ay 2.5 and their angle or the equivalent of 225 degrees in radian form or radian measure is 5 pi over 4. So 2.5 times 5 is 12.5 over 4 pi. Since ito po ay in decimal form, this is also equivalent to 25 pi over 8 po. Since, di ba po, ang 12.5 is equal to 25 over 2 po. 25 over 2, so copy 25 pi, and 2 times 4 is equal to 8. So we have 25 pi over 8 centimeters. So an arc with this length on the larger gear corresponds to an angle measures theta. So yung arc length ng buong smaller gear is equal to 25 pi over 8, which is equal to 4.8. Ang radius po ng larger gear is 4.8, and we need to determine the length, ay the measure of the angle po na kailangan pong i-rotate ng larger gear. So 25 over 8, so nag-multiply po, nag-cross multiply, 8 times 4.8. So ang ating naging sagot is 125 pi over 192. Ang 4.8 po kasi magiging 4.8. So kapag gawin po natin siyang fraction is equal to ano? Ano po? So this is equal to 24 over 5. 'Di ba po? Pag 24 over 5, siya ay 4.8. So, magiging 24 over 5 po ito. So, magmo-multiply po. 20 cross multiply tayo. Pag 24 over 5, 5 times 25 is 125. And 8 times 24 is 192. So, we have the equivalent value of this theta in radian measure is 125 pi over 192. And if you're going to convert this radian measure into degree measure, it's it's it is equivalent to 117 degrees po, or approximately 117 degrees. So yun po yung convert degrees to theta to degrees. And that's all for the topic circles po.